There are places on Earth that feel too vast, too perfect, or too unreal to exist. Landscapes so magnificent that they seem imagined rather than shaped by nature. Mountains rising like walls, valleys carved on an impossible scale, and environments that feel untouched by time. These places are not fantasies or distant worlds. They exist here, on our planet, formed by powerful natural forces over thousands of years. In this journey, you'll explore some of the most magnificent places on Earth, where beauty overwhelms the senses and reality feels almost unreal.
Rainbow Mountain looks like a colorful illustration stamped directly onto the Andes. Instead of gray rock, Vinicunca displays natural bands of red, yellow, green, and even bluish tones, as if the Earth itself had been painted in perfectly layered strokes. There's a geological explanation. Different minerals accumulated over ages, oxidized and reacted in distinct ways, creating the stripes. But in person, the science doesn't soften the shock because the mountain truly feels impossible. And the journey there makes it even more cinematic. Extreme altitude, icy winds, fast-moving clouds, and snow-capped peaks all around. When the sun breaks through the clouds, the colors intensify and the landscape seems to shift into another dimension. It's not an easy place or a comfortable one. It demands breath and rewards you with awe. Vinicunca proves Earth doesn't need filters to create something surreal. It does it on its own.
In the middle of the Turkmenistan desert, there's a place that looks torn straight from a nightmare, or an ancient legend. Known as the Door to Hell, this enormous burning crater has been on fire for decades, lighting up the night with a terrifying orange glow. The crater formed in 1971 when a Soviet drilling operation searching for natural gas caused the ground to collapse. To prevent toxic gases from spreading, engineers decided to ignite the site, believing the flames would burn out in a few days. But the fire never stopped. About 70 meters wide, the pit reveals a charring interior where flames dance non-stop and the heat can be felt from far away. At night, the contrast between the dark desert and the constant fire creates a scene that's both hypnotic and disturbing. The Door to Hell isn't just visually striking. It's an unsettling reminder of what happens when human intervention collides with nature's forces. An extreme, blazing, surreal place that lives up to its name and challenges the very idea of permanence in our world. In the middle of a vast volcanic caldera covered in ash, Mount Bromo rises like an apocalyptic, mesmerizing set piece. Located in Indonesia, this active volcano captivates not only with nature's raw power, but with the surreal landscape around it, a sweeping sea of sand that looks like it was lifted from another world. At sunrise, the spectacle is indescribable. The sun slowly climbs behind the mountains, illuminating the smoke that constantly rises from Bromo's crater. Gold, gray, and blue tones blend in the sky as volcanic steam coils upward, reminding you the mountain is alive. Despite its hostile appearance, Mount Bromo is sacred to local communities. Every year, traditional rituals are held at the summit, with offerings thrown directly into the crater as a sign of respect and balance with nature's forces. Walking through this environment is to feel human smallness in the face of the planet's power, an unstable, dramatic, breathtaking place where Earth shows its most brutal and beautiful side at once, proving some landscapes simply don't feel like they belong to this world. Imagine an island inside a crater, which itself sits inside another island. Aogashima is exactly that. Located south of Tokyo in the Pacific Ocean, this small volcanic island feels like a glitch in reality, a place where geography decided to ignore the rules. From above, Aogashima reveals a large mountain ring covered in vegetation, and at the center, a second crater where people actually live. Homes, roads, and fields spread inside this dormant volcano, creating a surreal contrast between everyday life and nature's raw force. Reaching the island is extremely difficult. Depending on the weather, boats and helicopters can be grounded for days, reinforcing the near-total isolation. Even so, a small community chooses to remain, living alongside volcanic gases, steep slopes, and the constant reminder that the ground beneath their feet has erupted before. Aogashima feels like a living geological experiment, a quiet, green, unbelievably strange place where human life has adapted to a setting that seems impossible to inhabit, proving that sometimes reality can outdo any fiction.
Clinging to a sheer cliff, the Shangkong Hanging Temple looks like a structure built to defy gravity itself. In China's Shanxi province, it rests on stakes and beams driven into the rock as if it were hanging over the void. From a distance, it feels like one strong gust could send it tumbling, yet it has stood for centuries, steady, silent, unbelievable. What's most impressive is the engineering. More than just beautiful, Shangkong was designed to endure. The mountain wall helps protect it from heavy rain, and the structural interlocking distributes weight with remarkable intelligence. Inside, narrow corridors connect tiny halls filled with statues and symbols from different traditions, Buddhism, Taoism, and Confucianism sharing the same space. Walking there makes your heart race. Wooden planks, narrow walkways, and a view that seems endless. A place that looks impossible at a glance, but up close becomes a lesson in courage and engineering.
High in the Andes, wrapped in clouds and mystery, Machu Picchu seems to float above the world. This ancient Inca city, hidden from modern civilization for centuries, stands as one of the greatest proofs that humans achieved the extraordinary under almost impossible conditions. Built in the 15th century, the citadel amazes with stones fitted together without mortar. Each block was carved with near-millimeter precision, creating structures that have withstood earthquakes, heavy rains, and hundreds of years. All of it in a remote location, hard to reach, surrounded by deep cliffs. Agricultural terraces cascade down the slopes, revealing advanced engineering and adaptation to the environment. Machu Picchu is believed to have been a religious and political center, or perhaps a sacred retreat for Inca elites, yet its true purpose remains shrouded in mystery. When mist rises slowly through the mountains at dawn, the city feels like it's emerging from another plane of reality. Machu Picchu isn't just a historic site, it's an almost spiritual experience that makes you doubt the limits of what's possible.
Mount Huangshan looks like a traditional Chinese painting brought to life. Jagged granite peaks rise above a constant sea of clouds, creating an ethereal landscape where sky and earth seem to blend. Often, only the mountaintops are visible, like islands floating in emptiness. What makes Huangshan truly special are its contrasts. Pine trees cling to near-vertical cliffs, defying gravity and common sense. Stone bridges and narrow trails connect the peaks, revealing dizzying vistas that change completely as the clouds shift. This scenery has inspired Chinese artists, poets, and philosophers for centuries. Every angle feels carefully composed, as if nature decided to create its own masterpiece on a monumental scale. At sunrise, when golden light cuts through the mist, Mount Huangshan becomes almost unreal, silent, majestic, and delicate at once. So beautiful and improbable, it seems to exist outside time, in a dimension where nature chose to show its most perfect form.
In the heart of Bohol Island in the Philippines, More than 1,000 perfectly rounded hills rise across the horizon, as if they were placed there one by one. The chocolate hills form a landscape so uniform and repetitive it looks artificial, almost like a vast field of natural sculptures. During the rainy season, the hills are covered in deep green, but in the dry season, the vegetation fades and everything turns brown, making them look like thousands of giant chocolates scattered across the land. That curious transformation is where the name comes from. The origin of these formations still sparks debate. They're made of limestone and resulted from ancient geological processes combined with millions of years of erosion. Even with scientific explanations, the sheer perfection of the view remains unsettlingly intriguing. From above, the chocolate hills seem endless. No two hills are exactly the same, yet all follow the same near-impossible pattern, a silent, hypnotic, unusual place that proves nature also likes to play with form, creating landscapes as strange as they are fascinating.
On the edge of the North Atlantic, Northern Ireland's coast holds one of the strangest and most perfectly formed geological sites on the planet. The Giant's Causeway is made up of around 40,000 basalt columns, most of them almost perfectly hexagonal, fitted together like a massive stone puzzle. These columns formed after an ancient volcanic eruption when lava cooled slowly and contracted evenly, creating surprisingly precise geometric patterns. The result is a landscape that looks man-made, as if designed by architects, not nature. For centuries, science competed with legend. According to local folklore, the stones were placed there by a giant named Finn McCool, who built a bridge to Scotland to face a rival. And looking at the perfect alignment of the columns, it's easy to see why the story endured. When waves crash between the rocks and the cloudy sky blends into the sea, the scene becomes even more dramatic. The Giant's Causeway proves that nature sometimes creates shapes so exact they feel impossible to be natural.
In the heart of China, there's a mountain that seems to hide a direct passage to the sky. Mount Tianmen is famous for its enormous natural rock arch known as Heaven's Gate. More than 130 meters tall, this colossal opening looks like a doorway intentionally carved by nature, far too perfect to be a mere geological accident. Getting there is already a surreal experience. The road to the mountain has 99 sharp, hairpin turns, winding along steep cliffs as if daring every notion of safety. For the truly fearless, there are also glass walkways clinging to the mountainside, where the transparent floor reveals the abyss beneath your feet. To reach Heaven's Gate, you have to climb nearly 1,000 steps on a monumental staircase. With every step, it feels like you're leaving the ordinary world behind and approaching something sacred. At the top, the constant wind, shifting clouds, and the giant opening create an almost mystical atmosphere. Mount Tianmen isn't just a mountain, it's a symbol. A place where nature, vertigo, and spirituality collide, creating a scene so grand and improbable, it feels designed to separate the world of humans from the world of gods. Deep inside New Zealand, there's a place where the sky seems to have descended underground. The Waitomo caves hide a silent, magical spectacle. Thousands of tiny bioluminescent organisms light up the cave ceiling, creating the illusion of a star-filled universe in total darkness. Those points of light are produced by the larvae of an insect known as the glowworm, which use their blue-green glow to attract prey. In complete darkness and silence, the reflection of these lights on the walls and water turns the space into something almost supernatural. The visit happens by boat, gliding slowly along underground rivers. No engines, no voices, only the sound of water and the soft glow above. It feels like floating through space, surrounded by living constellations. The contrast between the outside world and this hidden universe
makes Waitomo even more astonishing. A fragile, delicate, breathtakingly beautiful place that proves some of the planet's most extraordinary experiences aren't found on mountain peaks, but hidden deep within the earth.
There is a place in Norway where the land seems to defy gravity and human courage. Trolltunga, which in Norwegian means the troll's tongue, is a rock formation that juts horizontally out from the mountain, suspended hundreds of meters above a dark blue glacial lake. Looking at it is impressive. Standing on it is simply indescribable. The journey to Trolltunga is not easy. It takes hours of hiking through wild landscapes with mountains, snow, lakes, and an absolute silence broken only by the wind. But every step is worth it. When the rock finally appears ahead, the feeling is that you've reached the edge of the world, a place where the horizon seems endless. According to local legends, this rock was shaped by giant trolls, creatures from Scandinavian folklore, and it's not hard to see why. The improbable shape of the stone makes it look as if it were hand-carved, deliberately placed there to challenge anyone who dares to approach. At Trolltunga, reality feels suspended in the air. One wrong step reminds you of the danger. One firm step reveals one of the most breathtaking views on the planet. High in the Bavarian mountains, surrounded by dense forests and often shrouded in mist, there is a castle that looks like it came straight out of a fairy tale. Neuschwanstein Castle was not built for war nor for defense. It was born from a dream, a grand, almost obsessive dream of a king who wanted to turn fantasy into reality. Built in the 19th century by order of King Ludwig II, the castle was conceived as a personal retreat inspired by medieval legends, epic operas, and ancient romances. Every tower, every mural, and every interior detail was designed to tell stories of heroes, knights, and imaginary worlds. Not by chance, this castle later inspired Cinderella's castle, immortalized in Disney films. But what truly makes Neuschwanstein impressive is the contrast. From the outside, it looks ancient, almost medieval. On the inside, it was extremely modern for its time, featuring heating, running water, and advanced 19th century technologies. Seen from afar, between the mountains and the sky, Neuschwanstein seems to float. A place where the line between reality and imagination simply disappears, and where Earth proves it can be magical too. Hidden among some of Canada's most impressive mountains, Moraine Lake looks as if it were hand-painted. Its water has such an intense turquoise blue color that it defies logical explanation at first glance. It's not a filter, not editing, it's nature itself creating an almost unbelievable visual spectacle. This phenomenon occurs because of what are called glacial flowers, tiny rock particles carried down from glaciers and suspended in the water, reflecting light in a unique way. The result is this surreal blue, which changes intensity throughout the day as the sun moves across the sky. Surrounding the lake, the scenery is equally stunning. The Valley of the 10 Peaks forms a natural amphitheater of sharp mountains, creating a feeling of total isolation. The silence here is deep, broken only by the cold wind and the distant sound of water. For only a few months each year, when the ice melts and access is allowed, Moraine Lake reveals its most impressive form, and everyone who reaches it shares the same feeling, standing before a place that seems to exist only in dreams. A powerful reminder that Earth still holds beauties capable of leaving us completely speechless. In northern Japan lies one of the country's last great primeval forests, a place where nature has remained almost untouched for thousands of years. Shirakami-Sanchi is a vast sea of ancient beech trees, crystal clear rivers, and silent mountains, creating a landscape so pure it feels frozen in time. Walking through this forest is an almost spiritual experience. There are no wide trails or modern structures dominating the scenery. What you hear is the constant sound of running water, the soft crackle of leaves, and a deep sense of isolation. Human presence here is minimal, and that makes all the difference. Every tree seems to carry centuries of history. Every clearing radiates a calm that's hard to explain. In autumn, the forest turns into a spectacle of warm colors. Shades of gold, orange, and red cover everything, creating a dreamlike landscape. In winter, snow silences the environment even more, making Shirakami-Sanchi almost ethereal. Recognized as a World Heritage Site, this forest doesn't impress through extreme grandeur, but through perfect simplicity, a place where reality is so intact it feels unreal, and where nature shows what the world was like before human interference.
In the heart of the Swiss Alps lies a valley so striking it feels designed to illustrate fantasy books. Lauterbrunnen Valley is surrounded by towering vertical cliffs from which more than 70 waterfalls plunge, creating one of Europe's most dramatic and enchanting landscapes. The most famous of them, Stoutbach Fall, drops from such a height that the water turns into mist before it even reaches the ground. On windy days, this mist dances through the valley, creating an almost ethereal effect. Around it, green fields, wooden houses, and snow-capped mountains complete the scene in near-perfect harmony. This valley was a major source of inspiration for writers and artists, including J.R.R. Tolkien, who is said to have drawn inspiration from Lauterbrunnen when creating landscapes of Middle-earth. And walking here, it's easy to see why. Everything feels too balanced, too beautiful, too quiet. In summer, the valley is vibrant and full of flowers. In winter, it becomes a silent white world. In every season, Lauterbrunnen conveys the same feeling, being inside a scene that feels designed, not sculpted by nature, a place where reality seems carefully choreographed.
Lost in the middle of the North Atlantic, between Scotland and Iceland, the Faroe Islands seem pulled straight from a Nordic fantasy book. Green cliffs plunge directly into the ocean. Waterfalls fall seemingly from nowhere into the sea, and tiny villages appear amid vast, dramatic landscapes. Here, the weather changes within minutes. Sun, rain, fog, and wind alternate quickly, transforming the same scene multiple times a day. This constant play between light and clouds creates a cinematic atmosphere where every glance feels like a different frame. Often, cliff tops rise above the clouds, giving the sensation of floating above the world. Faroese villages, with colorful houses and grass-covered roofs, blend into the terrain as if they had always been part of it. There are no large cities, no crowds, just the sound of wind, waves, and seabirds. The Faroe Islands don't impress through excess, but through isolation and authenticity. A place where nature still sets the rules and where reality feels raw and tense and at the same time, absurdly beautiful. A destination that feels outside of time and almost off the map.
At the southern tip of Chile, amid the wild vastness of Patagonia, rises one of the most impressive natural landscapes on the planet. Torres del Paine is a national park where sharp mountains, turquoise blue lakes, glaciers, and open plains combine in an almost exaggerated way, creating scenery that feels designed to impress. The famous granite towers rise abruptly from the earth, slicing through the sky like stone blades. At dawn, they glow with reddish tones as the first rays of sunlight hit them, creating a silent, hypnotic spectacle. Around them, crystal-clear lakes reflect the mountains with near unreal perfection. The weather here is unpredictable. Strong winds, fast-moving clouds, and sudden changes in light transform the scenery within minutes. This makes every moment in Torres del Paine unique. You never see the same landscape twice. Despite its extreme beauty, the place conveys a sense of isolation and raw natural power. It's not delicate scenery, but powerful. Torres del Paine doesn't try to please, it demands respect. A striking reminder of how wild, grand, and far beyond scale the planet can be,
compared to what we're used to calling reality. In northern Italy lies a mountain range that looks hand-carved, with dramatic lines that challenge any notion of ordinary landscape. The Dolomites stand out for their pale, jagged peaks that change color throughout the day. At sunrise and sunset, the mountains glow in pink and orange hues in a phenomenon known as enrosadura, making everything feel unreal. Unlike gentle mountains, the shapes here are sharp, vertical, and imposing. Massive cliffs rise over green valleys, alpine villages, and flower-filled fields, creating a powerful visual contrast. Trails wind through scenes that look like epic paintings, where every turn reveals a new, unbelievable view. Despite their grandeur, the Dolomites convey a sense of balance. Isolated huts, small churches, and narrow roads fit perfectly into the terrain without breaking the harmony. In winter, snow turns everything into a silent, almost monochrome world. In summer, green bursts with life. The Dolomites don't just look beautiful, they look intentionally exaggerated, as if nature decided to create its most dramatic version of mountains. Walking through the Arashiyama bamboo forest is like stepping through a silent portal into another world. From the very first steps, the sounds of the city fade away and give place to the whisper of the wind, gently moving the towering bamboo stalks and creating an almost hypnotic natural melody. The green stems rise toward the sky like endless columns, filtering the sunlight and painting the path with constantly shifting shadows. This isn't just a beautiful place, it's a complete sensory experience. With every gust of wind, the bamboo creaks and echoes, producing a sound so unique that the Japanese government has recognized it as one of the country's most precious natural soundscapes. Here, time seems to slow down, inviting contemplation and silence. Located on the outskirts of Kyoto, this forest carries centuries of history and spirituality. In the past, bamboo was believed to ward off evil spirits, which explains its frequent presence in temples and sacred gardens. Today, Arashiyama still awakens that same feeling, being in a place where reality feels lighter, calmer, and definitely more magical. On the northwest coast of Scotland, wrapped in mist, wind, and mystery, the Isle of Skye feels like it belongs to an ancient world where nature still rules without asking permission. Here, the scenery changes every minute. Low clouds slide over jagged mountains, cliffs plunge into the sea, and sunlight breaks through dramatically, as if staging an exclusive performance. Skye is famous for its almost unreal landscapes, such as the Queer Ring, a geological formation that looks as though the earth itself was torn apart, and the Old Man of Store, a solitary stone tower rising like a silent guardian of the island. Every trail reveals views that resemble epic paintings, full of contrast, power, and melancholy. But it's not just the geography that impresses. The island carries centuries of Celtic legends, stories of clans, fairies, and giants. It's easy to understand why so many myths were born here. On foggy days, when the horizon disappears, it feels like you're walking between worlds. On the Isle of Skye, reality is not gentle or predictable. It is wild, raw, and absolutely hypnotizing, a reminder of how beautiful and untamed the planet can be at the same time. There are landscapes so improbable they seem designed for cinema, and Zhangjiajie is exactly that. In the heart of China, this national park is home to thousands of gigantic stone pillars that rise vertically from the ground like natural towers. When mist wraps around the mountains, these pillars appear to float in the air, creating the illusion of a world suspended among the clouds. Not by chance, Zhangjiajie inspired the floating mountains in the movie Avatar. But the truth is, in person, the scenery is even more impressive. Walking along elevated trails, glass bridges, and viewpoints makes any sense of scale disappear. Below, an abyss. All around, a sea of peaks that seem endless. The landscape was shaped over millions of years by erosion, wind, and rain, carving unique forms that change appearance depending on the light. In the morning, everything feels ethereal. In the afternoon, shadows turn the scene dramatic. And at sunset, the park takes on almost unreal tones. Zhangjiajie doesn't just feel like a different place on Earth. It feels like a glimpse of another planet, a powerful reminder that nature is the greatest artist of all.
In the waters of Normandy, an island rises that seems to float between sky and sea. Mont Saint-Michel is one of Europe's most impressive places, not only for its beauty, but for how dramatically the landscape changes throughout the day. In just a few hours, solid ground becomes open sea, completely isolating this medieval fortress from the mainland. At the top of the island stands a monumental abbey built over 1,000 years ago. Its towers point toward the sky as if trying to touch the divine, while narrow streets wind uphill, surrounded by stone walls to tell stories of monks, kings, and battles. Every step seems to carry centuries of history. The tidal phenomenon here is among the most extreme in the world. When the water rises, access disappears, and Mont Saint-Michel becomes a solitary island surrounded by golden reflections. When the tide recedes, the landscape reveals kilometers of wet sand, creating a surreal contrast. Seen from a distance, especially at dawn or dusk, the silhouette of Mont Saint-Michel looks unreal, like an enchanted castle emerging from nowhere. A place where time, nature, and faith unite to create one of the most magical scenes on the planet. Suspended over volcanic cliffs and surrounded by a deep blue sea, Santorini looks as though it were carefully designed to impress. White houses with blue domes spread across steep slopes, seemingly defying gravity, creating one of the most recognizable and unreal scenes on the planet. This Greek island was born from a massive volcanic eruption that shaped its caldera thousands of years ago. The result is a dramatic landscape, with dark cliffs plunging into the sea while entire villages appear to float over the abyss. Walking through its narrow alleys is a constant sequence of natural viewpoints, each turn revealing a new, stunning view. At sunset, Santorini transforms. The sky fills with shades of orange, pink, and purple, reflecting off the white walls and the sea below. The sunset in Oya is so famous that, for a few minutes, the entire world seems to stop and watch. Santorini isn't just beautiful, it's cinematic, a place where nature, history, and architecture unite so perfectly that the line between reality and fantasy simply ceases to exist.
In southwestern Bolivia lies a place where sky and earth literally meet. Salar de Uyuni is the largest salt flat in the world, a vast white expanse stretching as far as the eye can see. But it's during the rainy season that this already impressive landscape transforms into something almost impossible to believe. A thin layer of water covers the salt and creates the largest natural mirror on the planet. The reflection is so perfect that the horizon disappears and everything seems to float in emptiness. Walking across this giant mirror feels like walking on clouds in a world without up or down. During the dry season, the salt flat reveals another spectacle, naturally formed hexagonal geometric patterns on the surface, creating an almost mathematical design visible for miles. The sense of scale here is disorienting. People, cars, and even distant mountains look like miniatures. Beyond its surreal beauty, Salar de Uyuni is one of the world's largest lithium reserves, a resource essential to modern technology. A curious contrast.
One of Earth's most unreal places, it's also vital to its future. Uyuni is not just a destination. It's an experience that challenges the senses and redefines what we believe to be possible in our planet's landscapes. At the far north of Norway, above the Arctic Circle, lies a village that seems placed there simply to prove that reality can be absurdly beautiful. Rhine is made up of small red wooden houses, known as rohrbuer, spread across rocky islets and connected by bridges, all surrounded by sharp mountains rising directly from the sea. The landscape here is intense and dramatic. The ocean is deep and dark, reflecting the sky almost perfectly, while the mountains resemble sleeping giants watching over the village in silence. Depending on the time of year, Rhine transforms completely. In summer, the midnight sun keeps the place lit even at night. In winter, the northern lights dance above the houses, painting the sky in green and purple tones. Despite the surreal scenery, Rhine was born from a simple life tied to fishing. For centuries, the village endured extreme climate and isolation, creating a rare harmony between humans and the raw nature around them. Looking at Rhine feels like observing a perfect scale model. Too small to be real, too beautiful to seem true. A place where the planet seems to have exaggerated its beauty without worrying about limits. Hidden among snow-covered mountains in rural Japan, Shirakawa-go feels like a village that escaped time. Its traditional houses, built in the Gassho-zukuri style, have extremely steep roofs designed to withstand heavy snowfall. Seen from afar, they resemble hands joined in prayer, a detail that only enhances the place's almost spiritual atmosphere. In winter, the village transforms into a true fairy tale. Snow blankets roofs and roads, while soft lights illuminate the houses at night, creating a scene so perfect it feels staged. In autumn, shades of red and gold take over the trees. In summer, intense green surrounds everything with life and calm. Despite its delicate appearance, Shirakawa-go was born out of necessity. The houses were designed to shelter large families and allow silk production using spacious attics. Every detail has a function, nothing is merely decorative. Walking through Shirakawa-go feels like stepping into an old photograph brought to life. A simple, quiet, and incredibly harmonious place where tradition shaped the landscape so precisely that reality feels carefully staged. In the middle of the Caribbean's turquoise blue waters, a perfect circle appears. Dark, deep, and seemingly a portal to the unknown. The Great Blue Hole in Belize is one of the ocean's most breathtaking natural phenomena. A massive marine sinkhole over 300 meters wide and about 125 meters deep. Seen from above, the contrast is hypnotic. Shallow, crystal-clear water all around, and at the center, a dark blue abyss that seems bottomless. This colossal hole formed during the last ice age, when sea levels were far lower and limestone caves eventually collapsed. As the ice melted, the ocean flooded the space, creating this almost impossible landscape. Underwater, the mystery only deepens. Giant stalactites, submerged rock formations, and fascinating marine life turn the Great Blue Hole into one of the world's most famous diving destinations. As you descend, the light fades and silence becomes absolute. It's a place that blends beauty with unease, a powerful reminder that even on a widely explored planet, there are still natural abysses capable of inspiring wonder and a certain fear of the unknown. Cappadocia feels like a world shaped by imagination. Stone towers known as fairy chimneys stretch across the horizon, forming surreal valleys that look like sci-fi sets. Over millions of years, wind and water erosion carved these improbable forms, creating one of the most unique landscapes on the planet. But what makes Cappadocia even more astonishing is how humans learned to live inside this extreme environment. Homes, churches, and even entire cities were carved directly into volcanic rock. Underground, labyrinth-like complexes once sheltered thousands of people, protecting them from invasions and harsh climates. At dawn, the spectacle reaches its peak. Hundreds of hot air balloons rise slowly into the sky, coloring the scene with vibrant tones as the sun reveals every detail of the rock formations. From above, Cappadocia looks like a different planet. It's a place where nature and history merge perfectly. So strange, so beautiful, so improbable that it seems to challenge reality itself.
At first glance, Lake Natron looks too hostile for any form of life. Located in northern Tanzania, this shallow lake has extremely alkaline waters with pH levels comparable to ammonia. The mix of minerals, salt, and high temperatures creates intense reds, oranges, and pinks, turning the landscape into something almost otherworldly. The most unsettling aspect of Lake Natron is its ability to preserve animals. Its high alkalinity can calcify birds and other creatures that spend prolonged time in contact with the water, creating figures that look like stone sculptures. A real phenomenon that fuels eerie legends and haunting images. Despite that, the lake is essential to life. It's one of the main breeding grounds for lesser flamingos, which can survive there precisely because few predators can endure such extreme conditions. Thousands of these birds transform the lake into a living pink sea, a stark contrast to the place's lethal reputation. Lake Natron is beautiful and threatening at once, a powerful reminder that nature doesn't exist to be comforting. Sometimes it creates environments so extreme and strange they feel designed to test the limits of life itself.
Rising dramatically from the Atlantic Ocean, Skellig-Michael looks more like a lost fortress than a real island. Off the coast of Ireland, this steep rock formation shoots almost vertically out of the sea, with sharp cliffs battered by fierce winds and violent waves. At the top of this nearly inaccessible island, Christian monks built a monastery more than 1,000 years ago. The small, beehive-shaped stone structures were built without mortar, fitted together with remarkable precision. To reach them, you had, and still have, to climb hundreds of narrow steps carved directly into the rock, with no handrails and a sheer drop beside you. Extreme isolation was part of the monks' spiritual life, as they sought absolute silence and closeness to the divine. Surrounded only by wind, seabirds, and the roaring sea, they survived in one of Europe's harshest environments. Today, Skellig-Michael inspires the same disbelief, a remote, severe, solemn place where human faith seems to have challenged nature itself. An island so improbable and dramatic, it feels designed to test the limits of what can truly exist.
Our planet is far more extraordinary than we often realize. From surreal landscapes to places that seem frozen outside of time, Earth continues to reveal scenes that challenge our understanding of reality. If this journey impressed you, leave a like to support the video. Subscribe to the channel for more cinematic journeys through unreal places, extreme landscapes, and destinations that feel impossible. And tell us in the comments which place amazed you the most.